The Marvel Cinematic Universe and Sony Spiderverse is on fire right now, at least from a news perspective. Some crazy things have been said and some other crazy things have been announced, and then with the release of the Madam Web trailer, as well as the What If Season 2 trailer, I just think it's time that we all talk about it. So let's dive in. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Jones Vibes. Hit the like button if one of your earliest memories was your mom researching spiders in the Amazon, and let's dive in. So yeah, guys, first things first, I just want to say I do have a mustache, and so let's just get that out of the way, clear the air, and move on. Really today, and just for the last 2 weeks, there has been so many Marvel announcements and news stories and just things going on. I felt like I needed to make a video and just talk about all this really quick. So first, I want to start off with the Madam Web trailer. Obviously, this is the Sony Spiderverse, and this released a couple days ago. And how are you guys feeling about this? It's kind of already made some waves. People have been talking about this trailer a lot. I think it's very ironic, this trailer coming out the week after the Marvels, just because the Marvels, so far, the reception, it's been very just black and white. You either love it or you hate it, and people have just been ripping each other apart online, and that's never fun to see. But then seeing this trailer come out, it feels very familiar. Specifically looking at this plot. I watched the trailer, I sat down, I watched it, and I just don't really know what's going on. And that was a very big problem that I had with the Marvels. I really enjoyed the performances, and I'm sure in Madam Web I'm going to enjoy the performances. But as for this trailer, this plot just looks kind of messy and all over the place, and so that's a big concern for me. Paul from Heavy Spoilers was saying that this is actually tested pretty well, and people are saying that it's very surprising, and so I'm definitely going to go into it with an open mind, but it just feels like a story that we don't need, and people talk a lot about the superhero fatigue thing, and I think that a huge reason is because movies like this keep getting made. Do I want to love it? Yeah, absolutely. Did I want to love Venom? Yes, absolutely. Did I want to love Morbius? Yes, absolutely. But after watching Venom 1, Venom 2, then Morbius, and now seeing this Madam Web thing, and knowing that we have Kraven the Hunter coming out, Sony just isn't really at the level of the MCU, and I'm not talking about the Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse movies. Obviously, those are peak. But as far as their live-action Spider stuff, they just really haven't proved in a long while that they're capable of handling some of these Spider-Man characters, at least putting together a really solid film. And I think audiences right now are clamoring for another really great superhero movie because we've gotten some in the past, and so people get used to that, Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, even The Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. But then you look at things like The Batman, a very real story with strong character work, amazing visuals, a beautiful score. I think audiences want to connect with what they're seeing. And when you watch this trailer for Madam Web, we have this villain that I don't know who he is, and I think that maybe there are some comic book fans that are raising the roof and just man, Ezekiel Sims, this is the guy, but I wouldn't be expecting that villain to sell this film. And then on the other side of things, we have Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney. We didn't even see Emma Roberts, but she's supposedly in this film. And I think those three alone can sell tickets to a movie, and maybe this does do well in the box office. But judging off of the reaction from this trailer, I'm not sure that it's going to get received very well. And like I said, this is just my opinion, and I haven't seen the movie yet. I have no idea. Maybe this thing is going to just blow me out of the water, and I'm going to be Sony Spider movies, this is it. They got to just take control now of the reins. But I kind of doubt it. I don't know. It's just a rant that I've been wanting to have, specifically after watching Morbius and then seeing all of these projects announced. Because obviously, No Way Home and that Spider-Man trilogy, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, Tom Holland killed it. And that was the MCU working in conjunction with Sony. And then you have Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse kind of off in their own little pocket with Sony, and they're given complete creative freedom. But the live-action Spider-Verse just feels very reminiscent of the early Daredevil with Ben Affleck that came out, or that Catwoman film with Halle Berry that was just a scrapped script from Batman Returns, just a spin-off movie, and yet they decided to make it because they had nothing else really in the pipe, and they made it, and it flopped. And I just want to emphasize that it's nothing against any of these actresses. I purely kind of blame this just on the studio being very naive. And I think people are just kind of starting to wake up, and they want better movies. People complain a lot about the recent MCU. I actually don't have many problems with it because the MCU typically lands. Like, The Marvels was the first movie in a long while that I really felt like pretty disappointed walking out of. I think Thor: Love and Thunder had aspects of that kind of walking out. The vibe, I was like, I don't know. But like Quantumania, I actually really love. Like, I love Quantumania. But I think all of these recent movies are just starting to fall into a similar category for people, and people are starting to really judge these movie studios harshly. And I think that one that really needs to hear the noise is Sony. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on the Madam Web trailer. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about it. I could be completely wrong. Maybe this trailer was like fantastic and super well cut, and like I just didn't even see that. But moving on, because we had a massive announcement this week on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, of Pedro Pascal being announced as Reed Richards. And this is insane, guys. You know, a lot of the announcements that were coming out were like a deal has been struck and it's a done deal. Even though a lot of what has been said so far is that like they're discussing a deal and it actually hasn't been confirmed. So it's tough to know who to trust online. You know, a lot of people are just saying like, this is a done deal. He is Reed Richards. With all that being said, hypothetically, let's assume that he is Reed Richards. And maybe by the time I release this video, it will be fully confirmed. Pedro Pascal, I absolutely love him, and I have zero argument for this, really. I think my only thought on it is that, man, he's in a lot right now. If you're not too familiar with him as an actor, which I'm sure you are, he's like one of the biggest names in Hollywood right now, but he really had some early success, specifically with Game of Thrones, playing the Viper. And moving forward, now he's Din Djarin, and he is the Mandalorian, and that's just incredible. And then this last year, we got one of the best television shows, sorry, I get super hyped up, but of all time. It was just so good. The Last of Us, the video game adaptation, he's a phenomenal actor. The rumor is that in the Fantastic Four that the MCU is developing, that Reed Richards is actually going to be a bit of a backseat to Sue Storm. And so that's very interesting. I think he would be able to kind of fill that role very well. But obviously moving forward, Reed Richards is going to be a very integral part of the MCU, especially if they're going the direction of Doctor Doom. Those guys are like yin and yang. So I think this is very exciting. Nonetheless, he is a super talented actor, and he's going to be able to knock it out of the park. Like, I think we can just trust that he's going to be able to knock it out of the park. I am sad to not see John Krasinski get the role. We've known that for a long time, that he's not really going to do it, and it was just a fun cameo in Multiverse of Madness, but I'm still pretty sad that that's not happening. But kind of transitioning from that, we've had all of this news about Marvel possibly transitioning from the Kang storyline into Doctor Doom, with the Kang dynasty kind of being changed up a little bit. I believe his name was Jeff Loveness. He was writing the script for it. He is no longer on the project, as well as Destin Daniel Cretton is now mainly just focusing on Shang-Chi 2, as well as Wonder Man. And so that's a lot to process, a lot to digest. People are kind of getting ahead of themselves, saying that it is now heading fully in the direction of Doctor Doom and Kang is done. If Jonathan Majors is found not guilty, I would imagine they do something, at least with Kang, in the future. He's just done such a good job acting, guys. Like, his performances have been incredible, but as far as this court case goes, like, what do you do? I mean, we'll see what happens, whether he's guilty or not guilty. So if he's guilty, it completely makes sense. If it's not guilty and it was just kind of a falsely accused situation, it would be sad to see them like completely discard everything. There have been a lot of accusations thrown his way, and I really don't know the validity of any of them. I haven't looked into it too much. All I know is that we'll see what happens in this court case. So again, if he is found not guilty, I would love to see more Kang, because Kang has been a phenomenal character. I was never really one for recasting. I think Jonathan Majors has done great, and if you're going to get rid of Kang, just get rid of the character and just throw something else in, because Loki Season 2 left it at a point where either they're heading into all-out war with all of the Kangs, or the TVA is kind of just going to keep an eye on things and prune any Kang that gets out of line. So we will see as far as all that goes. But if the Marvel Cinematic Universe is heading in the direction of Doctor Doom, that also is very freaking exciting. Who's going to play him? They said that Josh Hartnett was confirmed like a couple of months ago. So it would be Josh Hartnett and Pedro Pascal. Holy cow, man, that is ridiculous, and that is very, very exciting. But lastly, I just want to talk about the What If Season 2 trailer that came out. I don't have that many thoughts. I just want to say that I absolutely loved the Christmas theme on it. They're releasing 9 episodes in 9 days, and I know creators on YouTube, all of us are going to be like cramming because that is just going to be a lot to deal with. But the trailer itself looked fantastic, no pun, and I really liked the OG Avengers with Hank Pym and T'Chaka. Like, that was super cool. What If is such a unique show. It's very, very reminiscent of Star Wars Visions for me. It's just a show that you could put on and just be happy watching it. I don't know. There's just something about animation that just kind of lowers the stakes, and you get to just watch and enjoy it. And I think around the holidays, this is just going to be great. I'm excited. You guys let me know if you're excited. Please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on all of this stuff. The Madam Web trailer, What If Season 2, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, and just the MCU as a whole. It's all crazy, but we need to talk about it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I'd really appreciate that, and that support goes a long way. You can reach out to me on X at Jones Vibes Only, and don't forget to keep up the good vibes, guys. But do you think that the future of comic book movies is in jeopardy? I guess we'll see.